George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation, celebrating people we feel good about. We've got another officer on the beat, beyond the badge, with support from the Syracuse Police Department. This is Nico Saraelgui, and he is known as Officer Nico, born in the Cuse. And let's find out a little bit more about you. So, Officer Nico, tell me a little bit about your growing up in the Cuse.
Yes, sir. So I actually wasn't born in Syracuse. I was born in Uruguay in South America.
I
moved to Syracuse in the United States when I was 6 years old, 6 or 7. I'm
okay.
But yeah, I've been in Syracuse ever since we moved here to the United States. I grew up, at first I kind of was all over the place. We were moving around a lot, but pretty much grew up on the west side most of the time. Majority of my life here in the United States, I grew up on the west side.
So Uruguay is in South America, so obviously all of the countries except for Brazil are Spanish speaking. So you must speak Spanish speaking?
Yes, sir. Yep. Brazil speaks Portuguese. They're the only ones yet. So I speak Spanish.
Do you speak any Portuguese at all?
I don't speak it. I definitely can understand it, and I know they can understand Spanish. I remember going in high school, I remember there was an exchange student from Brazil, and we would have conversations back and forth, me in Spanish, him in Portuguese, and it was perfectly, fine.
You kind of like, you figured it out, right?
Yeah,
like they're close enough, right? Close
yeah, exactly. Hand gestures, helped out a lot, but yeah, it was definitely pretty interesting to notice that like I could relate to someone in Portuguese just from speaking Spanish. So that was pretty interesting.
So tell us about your background and where'd you grow? You grew up in the city, you moved all over. Where'd you settle, and where'd you go to school?
So my family ended up settling on the west side of Syracuse. Elementary school I did at Seymour Elementary. Did Dr. Weeks for a couple of years, just because my parents didn't feel like I was learning English enough, since Seymour had the bilingual option.
Sure.
So my mom and my dad decided, I think I did like 2nd and 3rd grade at Dr. Weeks, which really helped my English out, because at that point I had to speak English. There's no other option, Then I went back to Seymour to finish out elementary school. Middle school was at Grant Middle School, and then high school was Henniger High School.
You know what's interesting, because when you say Seymour was a dual language academy, you're not that old, because that's not, I was going to say, that's not a long time.
Not at all,
no.
No. I moved to the United States in 2001, so.
Okay.
This is not.
Yeah, you're a youngin', man. You're a youngin'.
Yeah.
So, what made you decide to become a police officer?
So there's a lot of factors that I think have kind of gone into my decision and this choice of career, but the main one was always, my parents instilled in me that they were here and made the sacrifice to come to this country because of us.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad would always say, and my mom too, like, we left our country, we left our friends, we left our family, we left our language, we left our culture for you guys. So it has to, whatever you do, you have to be proud and do it good, So that was always one thing that was in the back of my mind, was making sure my parents are proud. I'm also the oldest of 4.
Okay.
So that was another thing my dad instilled in me, is everyone else is watching, so you better do the right things, So I owe them that. I owe them my work ethic, which I think has led me to where I am now. And then I'm very grateful to be in the United States. I'm very grateful to be in Syracuse. I'm very grateful for the life I have. And if it wasn't for the opportunities given to me by this country and this city, I wouldn't have anything, or my family wouldn't have anything. So I felt like I needed to do something to get back. And then I kind of got into security right out of high school. I met a lot of police officers working security, and I just liked everything that they told me they did. I liked how they carried themselves. I liked how they dealt with me, and it just inspired me to try to, be a cop. I felt like that was my calling at the time.
What did they tell you that really sold you about liking and being interested in being a cop?
Well, so the first thing that kind of captured my eye really was that was the first time I've ever met police officers. I didn't have much police encounter in my life, because I was more scared of my dad than anyone else, So
we got to meet this dad, because he's had a very profound influence.
Yeah, I owe him a lot, I think I probably didn't like him much when I was young, but now he's one of the best people in my life. But I didn't have much police encounters other than like little ones, nothing major. I never really got into horrible trouble. So once I became a security guard and I kind of started interacting with these police officers, I started realizing that they were just normal people. And that kind of really captured my eye. I'm like, oh, I can, these aren't like, I don't know, I feel like growing up, you think, some people are robots with certain jobs they do. Like, you just never have an interaction with them, so you don't know what it's like, So it really captured my eye that I noticed these are just normal people, like, and then they started. Why I rewind a little. I also liked what I was doing as security, and I mean that's a small of a scale to get to law enforcement, but I really liked it. And then when we would have to get the police involved, I liked how they were able to continue this investigation or deal with the crime or help someone out or avoid crimes. And I just realized that I had the personality for it. I knew that I'm a people person first. I've always been able to get along with anybody. I've always been able to talk to anybody. Some people tell me I talk too much, but I'd rather that than not talk at all. So I felt that seeing what they were doing, seeing what I was doing, and knowing my background, I felt like it was a great fit, and I think it is up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it as if it's just a regular job, but it's a very stressful job.
Sure, yeah, I think every job is stressful. I mean, I think life in itself is stressful, so we just have to.
Well, the difference I was gonna say, but the difference between you and I is I turn on the microphone and you've got to get in the car and holster up. It's a little different.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I
yeah.
But when when you do something every day, it kind of becomes a thing. It becomes normal to you in a way. So sometimes I feel like maybe this craziness and this stress is what it's normal to me now. So I to me it is normal. I get what you're saying. Some days are harder than others for sure.
Sure.
But I definitely do think that.
I mean, there's sometimes when you don't even know if you go into a call, there's a lot of, what you're facing.
Definitely. 100%.
On any given day.
I mean, we know it. My family knows it, but it's definitely something you, in a way, you sign up for, right? I mean, no one, I knew this the day I took the test, right? I knew that I would be dealing with things that other people don't normally deal with, but it's okay. I trust the training. I trust the experience I have, and I trust the people I work with. So that's all you can do, just do your best every time.
Officer Nicholas Saralegui in the house, talking about, we're going beyond the badge, learning a little bit about him. So you're relatively new on the force. How long have you been on the force?
Just about 4 years. July, I think it'll be 4 years.
So have your fellow officers, are you now past being a rookie? I mean, have they given you?
Yeah. Once in a while, I get reminded, but luckily, they've been doing a pretty good job at hiring. I think there's 2 or 3 classes under me now, which that gives you some status, I guess.
Okay.
So it's definitely been nice to put the jokes on someone else for a little bit.
You also have a young look, you know what I mean? You look young.
Oh yeah, I have a baby face for sure.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it that.
No, I hear you. No, I think I'll be happy about this in about 50 years, maybe.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, do you grow any hair? I mean, what's the deal?
No, I can't. Now we have a beard policy, but I'm one of the only guys that.
So can you have a mustache but no beard?
No,
Is that?
No, you can have a full beard now. Yeah.
People you can. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can.
I just can't grow anything now. It was nice when we all had to shave because I didn't have to worry about shaving as much as others. But now, I'm one of the only ones without a beard. So
you can't grow a beard. So what's your beat basically?
Yeah, I work the Valley of Syracuse, so the South Side Valley area. I've been there for about 3 years now. I got into that area pretty steady, pretty early on in my career. And I also work overnight, so I work 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
That is because you're relatively new on the force. Oh, but did you choose that shift?
You only get 2 options. You either get overnights or afternoons, evenings. I did choose midnights. Before this job, I worked the 3 to 11 shift, and I didn't like it. I didn't see my wife much. So knowing we had a young son when I was going through the academy, I knew that midnights would be the best option for me to be able to spend more time with them.
Tell me about family life. So how does that work? So if you have a little baby or a young son, you said.
You have 2 kids now, yeah.
2 kids.
I have a son and a daughter.
Right. So you're working midnight to what?
So I worked 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
7 a.m. And then you get how much time with the family before you have to go to sleep to be ready?
So I know everyone does different things, and it depends on what works for everyone's schedule. But for us specifically, I get home at 7, and everyone's kind of waking up at that point. And then I take over. My wife works from 7:30 to 1:30 or 2. And then at 1:30 or 2, she takes over, and I sleep, and then go to work at 11. So
No,
that's
it's
our
actually
schedule.
perfect, right?
Yeah, that's
For
what
the
it's gonna be.
family, you don't
Right.
have to have necessarily have to have daycare or
We
anything.
don't, yeah, because it's expensive. Daycare's expensive. We did it at first, and it was just so expensive that now that doing this, I mean, some days I'm more tired than I should be, maybe, but it works for us. And like I said, we're saving a lot of money that way too.
And that's why they have caffeine, right? Is that
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like water
and
from now.
and I am gonna go with the cliche and donuts, right? For your
Yeah,
sugar high.
yeah, yeah.
So
You don't ever
okay.
see me eating a donut in uniform, but I do like them. I can tell you that.
Oh, so you're not supposed to have a donut in
No,
uniform?
you are, but I just don't want to. I don't want to be cliche.
Uh well, if you were gonna have a donut, which donut would you have?
I'm a plain guy. I like glazed donuts. That'd probably be the best. But I don't know. My wife likes headlight donuts, and once in a while I'll dip in those. But glazed are okay.
What's the other kind?
The headlight donuts.
Oh,
Like,
headlights. Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah,
my wife likes that too. She likes like the headlights and all the cream on the top
yeah.
and lemon stuff. If she's gonna have
Sure.
it, she's
Yep.
telling her tail out of school. But I don't know. I kind of like the peanut donut like
Gotcha.
that. If I'm gonna have one. Or I like glazed and confused too. I like their like specialty things that they have.
Yeah, I'm not a sweets guy, so I don't think I've ever had glazed and confused.
Um, when you what's the most stressful call you've been on?
I mean, there's a long list. Unfortunately, we're really busy in Syracuse. So, and I say it unfortunately because sometimes the stressful ones are the worst ones.
Mhm.
So I couldn't even pinpoint it. I mean, we experienced a lot. I can tell you that in almost 4 years, I have countless stories.
Mm-hmm. What's it feel like being a Latino officer on the force, representing Spanish speaking?
I'm proud of it. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. It has definitely helped me out a lot. Sometimes people don't know I speak Spanish, and that can come into help us
You
out.
might hear something like they don't think you hear.
Yeah, sometimes I just stand there and don't talk or just listen, and let other people know what people are saying, So that has helped. It's also helped because I can help those who can't speak English. I know that my family was victims of countless crimes, so many crimes, and they were afraid of calling because they didn't know anyone could understand them. So
was that victim here or back home?
No, here in the United States. I know it's happened where they were afraid of calling because they didn't think someone would understand when they showed up. And I'm glad that we have more Spanish speaking officers now, and we have Spanish speaking officers who can show up and bridge that gap so that those people can report those crimes.
Yeah. So tell me about Uruguay. Have you been back?
Yeah, I've been back one time. So I was back in 2017 or 16. I can't remember the exact year. All of my dad's side of the family is still there. It's just very poor country. I'm very glad I'm here. I mean that in the most respectful way possible. But
Well, Uruguay, like we don't really hear. It's like obviously it's Uruguay, Paraguay. We don't hear a lot about
not
that.
I'll probably be one of the only you ever meet, probably. Yeah.
Seriously, right?
Yeah. There's only 3 million people in Uruguay, so New York City is bigger than the population wise than Uruguay is.
So Uruguay. What are the other countries around Uruguay?
So we're completely surrounded by Argentina and Brazil.
Okay.
So they're the bigger countries. They're kind of right around us, and then Uruguay's right in the middle, like a tiny little country.
What's the best thing about being a Syracuse police officer for you?
For me, man, it's a good question. I don't think I've ever tried to pinpoint it. I definitely do feel a sense of honor being where I know that I grew up, and seeing some people who I've seen my whole life either in the city, and now I'm on the other side, and it's shows you can make it. There's nothing holding you back. As long as you work hard, you put your mind through, there's literally anything you can do. So I know that definitely is just an honor thing for me. Growing up, I didn't have much, and knowing I pretty much can have, I feel like I have it all. I'm a simple guy, but I have nothing to complain about. So
you are the happiest police officer I have ever met.
No, there's a lot of happy police officers.
You're the happiest one I met. I don't care
even at work they tell me to stop smiling. So.
What's the toughest thing about being a Syracuse police officer?
I think the toughest thing of being a police officer in general now, not only Syracuse, is that so many people have this idea of who I am without knowing me.
Mhm.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know what you're saying about me right now. I'm the happiest guy you ever meet, you know, and
Mhm.
that's any day. I do it while I'm at work, and I know people notice it and they even say it, but those interactions never go told, right? No one tells the story of how 100 times a week I put a smile on someone's face. We only ever hear the bad ones, unfortunately, and that's what everyone thinks I am, you know, and I know it's the same for a lot of police officers that work with me. I don't have one guy that I know that works my shift or I've worked with that doesn't have positive interactions all the time. But unfortunately, we don't tell those stories, or those stories aren't told.
Well, we need more of them because obviously
Sure.
there's no secret. There is challenges, especially within communities of color. So certainly there's work to be done, obviously.
Yeah, definitely, always.
So what would you say to a young Nico who wants to be a cop?
Yeah, just keep working hard and stay
I
out
knew
of
that
trouble.
smile was gonna come. See, I'm waiting for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, keep working hard and stay out of trouble. You know, it's very easy to be the bad guy. It's a lot harder to be the good guy. I've always said that. It's a lot cooler to be the bad guy or the guy who gets in trouble, but it's
Yeah,
it's better in the long run not to be involved
Officer
in stuff.
Nico, how do you improve this cooperation with communities where you can better earn the trust and get beyond this idea of what do you call it, no snitching and all that stuff?
Sure. I think that I think we need to start. You know, I don't want to ever talk down on what people think is happening or what people have experienced or what people believe is going on in this country because that's their opinion. Everyone has their opinion. Everyone has their experiences. But I do believe that I've noticed that we need to generate our own opinions from our own experiences. You know, so if you've never had any bad interactions or horrible interactions and a police officer's out here because there's casings all over your street and he's politely asking you, hey, did you guys see anything? Don't just think that because you saw something yesterday or on the news that this police officer has bad intentions. You know, he's clearly trying to fix this. It's in the middle of the night. You know, there's been shots fired. There's kids on this entire block sleeping and stuff. So we do care to solve these. If not, we wouldn't be knocking on every door. You know, we wouldn't. So I believe that if people, and I say we because I'm also in the community, and also and my family's in the community. So I say this because if I have a bad experience one day, not yeah, sure, I might have my own opinions now, but I think we all need to like have our opinions from our own experiences, you know. So if you meet Nico 100 times and he's always nice to you, so that 101th time when a different officer shows up, remember that I've been good to you 100 times. So talk to that officer. You don't have to be the best friends, but be like, hey, no, sorry, sir, I didn't hear anything. Here's my name and stuff. If you guys need anything, let me know. You know, stuff like that.
Do you live in the city?
I don't any longer. No, no.
Mhm.
So my family did also just recently moved out of the city, but they were just there up to a few months ago.
Sure. All right. Well, this may be the happiest police officer ever, Officer Nico Nicholas Saralegui. He is the Syracuse police officer we get to meet beyond the badge. Anything else you want us to know about you? Oh, what are your hobbies? Like, what do you like to do? What do you have time to do when
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
on your shift?
So I do spend. I'm a very family oriented guy, so I spend a lot of time with family. That's definitely number one in my book. And then we recently a year ago, me and my wife bought a like an RV. So we've been doing a lot of camping the last year, and we're very excited for that this year.
Nice. All right. Officer Nico in the house. Appreciate you for stopping by
Yes, sir. Of
and helping us to go a little bit beyond the badge. Thank
course.
you for joining us on the
Yeah, thank you
program.
for having me, sir.
Inspiration for the nation.
I appreciate it.